Alright, so I'm going to attempt to make a video here of me finishing a bottle stopper blank with UV resin. This is a eye candy ghost pigment green mixed with a pine cone that I cast and turned on the lathe. Actually in my garage now, and I got it set up on a backup wind lathe that I can turn on just for slow speed, just to turn it here. But you'll see me hand turning it also. Anyway, just to get with this, just to prep on this is I've mounted it on it's a bottle stopper chuck that I put tape halfway up the thread so I can get to the bottom side of this bottle stopper. And I'm going to use just a standard UV resin that I'll put a link to in the video. I use the cheap stuff. I've used the Alumilite UV, and that works pretty good. It just doesn't seem to get as hard, and what we want is a really hard crystal clear finish on this. So you'll see me reach in the video also. I take standard nitrile gloves and I cut the fingers off of them, and so I can use them 5 times instead of just one. It's just a thrifty way to do it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hand rotate this bottle stopper blank like this, and I'm just going to apply some UV resin to it as it goes around. I do have a paper towel down over this lathe bed just in case some would drip, and which it just did. And I just put a little bit on there, and I come in with my finger and I smooth it out. Finger with a glove on it, obviously. You do not want this stuff on your hands. It's a lot less smelly than CA glue, but it does have an odor to it while it's curing. Now this is a self-leveling resin, so it'll be somewhat hindered by the temperature in my garage right now, which is about 40 degrees. In hotter weather it levels out a lot better. And I just wipe the excess off on the paper towel that's sitting right there. Now I'm just going to spin this by hand a little bit and make sure that all the areas are covered, and I will shine a flashlight on it just to see, and you can see them colors really come out in this, in that ghost resin. And you can see that resin's already leveling out by itself. I actually did put a little bit too much on there, so I'm going to take some off. So I just again take my finger. The good thing about UV resin is you have unlimited working time, because right now it's about 8 o'clock at night and there is no sun out, so there's nothing to activate the UV resin until I take out my UV light and activate it. If I do have too much on there, apologize. I'll wipe some more off. You just want to get an even coat over the whole thing. I did bring this resin inside my house and put it in a warm water bath for a little while just to try to get a little bit warm. Now if I shine the flashlight on there, this is just a regular light, by the way, it's not a UV light. Like I can see I have a little bubble right here. We're just going to smooth that out. And I watch the upper edge of my turning to see, I mean, I'm in no ways a professional turner, so I'm not going to get everything straight as an arrow anyway, but once I see that that resin is there, I'm going to put down this flashlight and I'm going to grab my UV torch or my UV light. Make sure you put your cap on your UV bottle before you do this, because it's going to get hard fast. And I just turn on the light and rotate it. There's multiple lights out there available. You'll see that, I don't know if I'll video it or not, but I use this torch, which I'll put a link to off Amazon too. It's under 20 bucks. It uses regular AAA batteries, which is nice because you're not having to go out and buy them photo cells. And this will harden it up in just, I don't know, under a minute of doing this. But just to be safe, I use a different curing method also, and I use it's a UV light made for hardening nail polish that I use, because when I don't have the camera here, it fits really nice sitting right on the lathe bed, and I'm able to walk away while the resin is curing. So right now the outer shell on that is definitely cured. I can actually take my finger and tap on it. You can see that it's hard. But shield your eyes a little bit, because this is what I normally do. I come in with my nail thing and I just set it underneath that plank, right on the lathe bed, and I turn it on. Now, because that outer shell is already hard, that resin does not go flying everywhere. And this allows me to actually grab a hold of this light and move it up close to the bottle stopper blank and get a full cure on it. I'll show you what it looks like slowed down now. So now you can see that there is a rock hard finish on the entire bottle stopper blank, and on this one I actually polished it up through micro mesh. Now I don't do that, because I maybe sand to 400 and then I just put the UV finish on it, and that smooths out all the little scratches and bumps and fills in any little gaps in there. So I don't know why more people don't use this, but just wanted to give you guys an option out there. Yeah, like I said before, I tried the Aluma UV and it works really good. It actually smells a little stronger, but it works perfectly fine for all this. It seemed to take a little bit longer to cure. This is a cheap, doesn't even have a label on it anymore, but I have it in my history on Amazon. It's a cheap knockoff. It's used for doing jewelry and fly tying, so it does dry ultra hard and clear. Alright, so I'm going to stop this now, and I always take off the little glove on my finger so I'm not getting any wet UV resin on that, and then you can just grab a hold and unscrew it off the lathe, and you may have to trim off some tape on the bottom like I am. I'm going to take this off, and now we have a perfectly shiny bottle stopper blank finished in UV resin.